Hello and welcome to part 2 of Not Going to Birdsville. My name is David Foster. My wife Nolene Magnuson and I travel throughout Australia looking for birds and spectacular scenery to photograph. Join us on our journeys through this great country of Australia. After settling into the caravan park in William Creek, we went to the iconic Outback pub for dinner. We had a tasty and enjoyable meal, although Nolene found her curry a bit too hot and spicy. It was a beautiful sunny morning, and after a relaxed start, we set off on the road to Coober Pedy. This road passes through Anna Creek Station, the largest cattle property in the world.
Which way do we go?
Well, there's a sign up here that says...
It's Anna Creek.
Anna Creek Station is also one of the biggest settlements in this part of South Australia. The station is closed to visitors other than on the 2 public roads which run through the property. The road was rougher and not in as good a condition as the road from Maree to William Creek. At the second turn off to Anna Creek, we came across this little roadside stand. No eggs were available when we passed through. The countryside was very flat for most of the way. There was a surprisingly large amount of surface water around from the recent heavy rains the area has recently experienced. As we got closer to Coober Pedy, the wildflowers increased and large carpets of purple pea flowers covered the country. Well, we're in Coober Pedy, the so-called opal capital of the world. There are places like Lightning Ridge which might dispute that, but Coober Pedy is the biggest opal mining town in Australia and therefore the biggest opal mining town in the world. We've been here several times and we've seen a number of changes over the years. Mining is becoming much more mechanised. Now much more heavy machinery is being used. The small holes that used to be dug have now been supplanted by heavy machinery digging huge quantities of earth at any one time. The look of the countryside has also changed. Gone are the small conical piles of earth where exploratory wells were drilled to now great big piles of dirt and rubble everywhere. In spite of all the desolation that surrounds you and the flat countryside with very little physical features to show, I quite like Coober Pedy. It is an interesting town. It's a town based on its eccentricity, and it's really a very, very popular place to come and visit. I think everybody should give them an opportunity to see some of the outback without venturing too far off the roads. As you would expect in an opal mining town, there were lots of shops selling opals. We drove out of Coober Pedy through the desolate Moon Desert before stopping at the Wild Dog Fence. We're at Coober Breakaways Conservation Park near Coober Pedy. We've just been taking bits and video of the salt and pepper formations. Well, that's what it's known traditionally in English. I can't remember the Aboriginal name for it, but it translates as two dogs. Quite a spectacular little formation. Extremely strong winds were blowing, and venturing out of the car was very unpleasant. We ate our picnic evening meal sitting in the car to avoid the winds. After photographing the late afternoon light on the hills, we drove back to Coober Pedy in the dark with the orange glow of the sunset still visible in the western sky. The next morning we left Coober Pedy to head to Woomera. We just started driving on one of the Royal Flying Doctor Service emergency airstrips, which are built periodically on some of the highways throughout the outback.
It's quite long.
When we reached Glendambo, we stopped at the Roadhouse for morning coffee. There was this lovely restored VW Combi there. Lunch stop was at the lookout over the Lake Hart Salt Lake. The wind had eased, but it was still unpleasantly strong. Thankfully, it was a tailwind. Woomera is the largest land-based space and weapons research area in the world and covers a huge area of outback South Australia and Western Australia. In its heyday in the 1950s and 1960s, there were over 5,000 service people and scientists living here. Now there are fewer than 500 people here, but that number can vary widely. Large numbers of vacant residences remain. Thank you for stopping by and watching this video. Next time, we will be going back to the Flinders Ranges to visit the Ediacaran fossils in the northern Flinders.